Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters. You know, when I introduced this Ramadan series, I had actually written in my post that I believe this might be the most important Ramadan series that I've ever done. And subhanAllah, when I wrote that, I really meant it, that I felt as I was building this series out from the pain of Gaza and the perspective of the Akhirah, that this would be something that would help people not just to grapple with what is happening in the world around them, but to actually put it in perspective of the world that they can't see right now that's happening. And if you're able to connect so deeply to that dimension, then this dimension not only becomes bearable, but it becomes a great opportunity to seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To a lot of people, it's like the other side, barzakh. What does this mean? You know, why me was so straightforward, asking all the why me questions about the very obvious things that happen to us in life. Jannah, we all love talking about Jannah, but this one, we're talking about the graves, we're talking about death. Is this something that I should be watching with my family? Is this child appropriate? Is it going to be tangible, practical? And the answer is absolutely. This might be the most important series for you to watch. And before I start talking about some of the subject matter, inshallah ta'ala, and the pace and some of the framings that are important, this year we actually have a discussion kit. And that discussion kit, which you can download, is meant for your families, is meant for your halaqas. What I want you to do, inshallah ta'ala, for all 30 days, if you're watching with a family, if you're watching with a group of people, to go through this discussion kit. And all it is it provokes a discussion with 3 questions that everyone sort of reflects upon, inshallah ta'ala, so they can connect at a deeper level to the subject matter. And this will help you stay consistent, inshallah ta'ala, and get the most of the series. So download the discussion kits, inshallah ta'ala, and also in the Yaqeen app, there's going to be a journal and a way for you to track your thoughts, inshallah ta'ala, and enhanced features to really benefit from this series. So I want you to stay, inshallah ta'ala, from episode 1 to 30. It's extremely important that you go through the entire series, inshallah ta'ala, because it is very intentionally paced and it develops as it goes along, inshallah ta'ala. You know, usually in a Ramadan series, I tend to make the first part very fast-paced. This one, inshallah ta'ala, I want you to imagine it this way. The first third of the series, you're kind of outside of the barzakh and you're trying to figure out what's going on in the world that you can't see and can't penetrate yet, whether it's through your dreams or through whatever else it may be, what's happening with that world. The next 20, you're actually in there, inshallah ta'ala. So we're talking about the reward of the grave. We're talking about the punishment of the grave. We're talking about reunions, and we're talking about perspective that's then gained on the other side. So you're looking back at this world from that side. So stick with the entire 30 episodes, inshallah ta'ala. If you're watching with a family in a group, download the discussion kit. If you're going along as an individual, inshallah ta'ala, work through the app or do both with the night time, but stick with it, inshallah ta'ala. And of course, I'm going to ask you, inshallah ta'ala, to also share this series, inshallah ta'ala. It has a lot of Gaza in it, not scenes of death or anything like that, but anything that has Palestine in it. We know how the shadow bands work. So share the series, inshallah ta'ala. Share every single episode with as many people as you can, inshallah, so we can beat the shadow ban on this and any content that has Palestine in it. Now, with that being said, it starts actually with this question: do we actually believe in a multiverse in Islam? So it's a question that I was asked probably from someone that was watching a few too many movies that suggest, you know, these multiverses and these dark forces. Do we believe in something similar in Islam? First and foremost, never think through the lens of a movie. Instead, inshallah ta'ala, think about your real life and the exaggerations that come through these films. But there's something very interesting that we have in Islam. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praises be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Indeed, there are multiple worlds that exist at the same time, in the sense that there's the existence of us here on earth. There is the existence of that which is in the heavens that we can't see, all of that which is within the ghaib. And in particular, within the ghaib, within the unseen, you have the existence of those that used to live on this earth but that have passed away. And their existence is just as real as our existence. Now, what's important to understand is that you don't have different gods and different forces that are maintaining these different universes and different existences. At the end of the day, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praises be to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. And so the Lord of the barzakh is the Lord of this dunya. He is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Alimul Ghaybi wa Shahada, the knower of the realm of the unseen, that which is not seen, and that which is witnessed. Al-Ghayb is that which is unseen. Ash-Shahada is that which is witnessed. There is one God of all of this. He is the Lord of all of existence, that which is unseen and that which is seen, the multiple realms, the multiple layers, even in this dunya that we can't see. There are things all around us that are happening that we can't perceive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of all of that. Now, knowing that He's the Rabb of all of that means that whatever conception we have of different existences within our existence, there's only one Lord that we need to call upon and that we need to attach ourselves to. And at the end of the day, from a consequential perspective, all it is a connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that's going to see you through each and every single realm of your own existence, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And so when we talk about interactions with the dead, and we talk about what we're seeing in our dreams, and we talk about what we're perceiving of those that have passed away, at the end of the day, it's very important for us to recognize that the dead cannot benefit us. The dead have moved on to the next layer of their existence, and they cannot benefit us in any way. And so whatever connections we are having with them or feeling in terms of perception, all of that is to connect us back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even, for example, what reaches them of our news, and we're going to go into great detail in this series about what reaches them of our news. At the end of the day, even if they express wishes for us to be in a good state or want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us before we die or whatever it may be, at the end of the day, it's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who can guide, only Allah who can benefit, and only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who at the end of the day is going to see us through every single phase of our existence. And so if you long to reunite with some of your relatives that have passed away, and certainly we do, if you long to reunite with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at the end of the day, the greatest longing that you should have is to be pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to hope that you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while He is pleased with you. And so keep that in perspective, inshallah ta'ala, as we're going through the different layers. Now, as far as sources that were used, the primary source of this series was actually a book, Kitab al-Ruh by Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, the book of the soul by Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah. And Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah talks about the soul and how it interacts with other souls and how it passes through these various layers of existence in a beautiful and profound way. And he often focuses on dreams of what is happening in that next phase of existence so that we can gain more perspective on this phase while at the same time being guided by prophetic instruction all along. So this is a book, subhanAllah, that really changed much of how I started to look at literature as it relates to the barzakh in particular. And it's truly a beautiful book by Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala. And of course, he is a blessed author who has written so much about how we can connect to the journey of the hereafter as a whole. After Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, Kitab al-Ruh, the second book that I consulted most was by Ibn Rajab rahimahullah ta'ala, one of the most underrated writers in Islamic history. Imam Ibn Rajab rahimahullah wrote a book called Ahwal al-Qubur wa Ahwalu Ahliha ila Nushur. So it's the state of the graves, the people of the graves as they make their way to the journey of resurrection. So Ibn Rajab rahimahullah ta'ala writes beautifully about these different stages as it relates to the people of the graves. And Imam al-Qurtubi rahimahullah ta'ala has this famous work, At-Tadhkira. There is a book by Imam bin Abi Dunya rahimahullah ta'ala, Man Asha Ba'd al-Maut, whoever lives after death. Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah ta'ala wrote a book called The Disturber of the Hearts. So it was meant to wake people up as they become complacent with their current situation. Because at the end of the day, none of this is just to entertain any type of fantasy or imagination. All of this is to have a manifest impact on our reality as we are in this world right now, so we can prepare for that which is to come bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So these were the main sources that I consulted, and I would then look into, for stories, the familiar sources, Imam al-Dhahabi rahimahullah ta'ala, his Siyar, Ibn Kathir rahimahullah ta'ala, Imam al-Tabari, and some of the narrations in Tafsir, Ibn Asakir, some of those stories that come from there that help us, solidify these concepts in our heads bi'idhnillahi ta'ala and hopefully move our hearts. So these were the main sources that I looked at. I did a series when COVID hit called For Those Left Behind, which was really more about finding peace and comfort and understanding what has happened with those of our loved ones that have passed away, and some of the wisdoms behind things like Salatul Janaza and the Ghusl and the iddah that happens, the waiting period, and how we're supposed to interact with, even at the level of jurisprudence, at the level of fiqh. This is far more personal and detailed, and it really brings to the forefront Gaza. What's happened to all these people that have passed away? And I know that we've heard, verses here or there about Shahada and the martyrs and what's happening with them, but there are very vivid realities that we can glean from our texts about the martyrs who are adults, about the martyrs who are children, about the tyrants that have passed away in our lifetime and that we hope will pass away soon in our lifetime as well. Very vivid realities that I think, inshallah ta'ala, can help us not just cope, but find clarity in the moment that we are in right now. And so it merges together what is happening in Gaza with our own personal journey into the barzakh, which I think is incredibly important because Gaza is the moral issue of our time. And if that doesn't disturb your heart, then how will the dead disturb your heart if the living are not disturbing your heart, especially when they're in this situation? And this consequential episode in our lives of Gaza is giving us an opportunity to all turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called us to stand for righteousness and to manifest that righteousness in our own personal lives so that we all meet Him having done the best that we can in the situation that we are in right now. So this series brings together all of those things, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And I think, inshallah ta'ala, that if you watch the Why Me series, and maybe you can go binge watch the Why Me series before Ramadan starts. If you watch the Why Me series, you will recognize that you can't come to terms with qadr, with the idea of divine decree, if you don't trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine wisdom. And you cannot appreciate all of the dynamics of the seen realities if you don't trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the unseen realities. Truly, when we go to that side, when we transition to the other side, then we'll look back at this side and we'll say, oh, okay, it made sense, it made sense, it made sense. What you want to be able to do when you transition to the other side is not just say, oh, it made sense, but to say, Alhamdulillah, I did what I was supposed to do when it didn't make sense. And so Why Me is the perfect series to binge watch before the other side. And so inshallah ta'ala, I hope that you got some time to go through those 30 episodes, inshallah ta'ala, before Ramadan starts. You still got a few days, just binge watch them, inshallah, and then take advantage of the other side, all of the materials that our team has put together so you can benefit the most. Also, please do donate to Yaqeen, inshallah ta'ala. I hope you see that we're constantly taking it to the next level. And this is just one element of how Yaqeen is always taking it to the next level. So if you're watching this before Ramadan, you can plug in, inshallah ta'ala, 30 days of donation. If you're watching this at any other time, please do support the work, inshallah ta'ala, so that we can continue to get better and better and better in everything that we do, everything that we produce, inshallah ta'ala. That which you are immediately benefiting from and that which you may not recognize as being done in the background. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all with an accepted Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this Ramadan a month of victory for our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Sudan, all over the world where there's oppression and tyranny. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this a month of acceptance and forgiveness and elevation for the entire ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where we step into the role that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has crafted for us, for humanity, and bi'idhnillahi ta'ala find on the other side of this humanity the reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised us. Allahumma ameen. I'll be in the comments, inshallah ta'ala, with the live premieres of the episodes, interacting with you as many days as I can, inshallah ta'ala, in the mornings. And I pray that, inshallah ta'ala, will be of benefit to you and keep us all in your dua. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.